The Donkey's Lesson, A Tale of Greed and Wisdom. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled at the edge of a river, there lived a humble merchant. He had a donkey who helped him carry goods to distant towns. The merchant's trade was simple. He sold salt, an essential commodity for the people. The merchant loads the donkey with 2 large sacks of salt. The donkey struggles under the weight but walks along beside his master. Donkey's face looks tired. They start their journey. Merchant says cheerfully, "All right, old friend, another day, another journey. Let's get to the village across the river before sunset. I have an important delivery today." The donkey gives a soft hee-haw in response, signaling that he understands. The donkey had carried salt countless times through forests and hills with little complaint, but today something unusual would happen. The merchant and his donkey approached the river by a wide, fast-moving river with a bridge made of wooden planks. Merchant looks concerned. "The river is running high today. Hold steady, my friend, don't slip." As the donkey crosses the river on a narrow path, he stumbles and falls into the water with the sack sinking in the current. The merchant jumps to the side in panic. Merchant shouting, "No, the salt!" The donkey struggles to get up. After a few moments he emerges from the water, dripping wet but noticeably lighter. In his clumsy fall, the donkey had unknowingly found an opportunity. The sack of salt had dissolved in the water, leaving him with almost nothing to carry. He felt lighter than ever before. The donkey trots happily along, no longer burdened by the weight of the salt. The merchant, unaware of what happened, walks beside him. The donkey looks at the merchant and then at the remaining sack of salt. Donkey thinking to himself with a sly smile, "This is much better. If I fall into the river again tomorrow, I won't have to carry this heavy sack. I'll get rid of it every time." The donkey walks along, imagining the relief he would feel with no more salt to carry. The camera shows the donkey and merchant traveling again the next day. This time the donkey looks mischievous, glancing at the river as they approach. The donkey had devised a plan. The thought of being rid of the burden of salt was too tempting. He couldn't resist the idea of a life without weight. As they near the river, the donkey suddenly stumbles again, but this time he purposely falls into the water. He emerges looking relieved and happy. Donkey smiling to himself, "Perfect, the sack is lighter already. I'll do this every day." The merchant looks down and realizes the salt is now gone from the sack. Merchant? "What's going on? Where did all the salt go?" He looks down at the donkey, who seems a bit too pleased with himself. Merchant. Something's not right. The sack of salt should be heavier. You must have done something." The merchant looks thoughtfully for a moment. The next day, the merchant prepares for the journey again, but this time he replaces the sack of salt with a sack of sponges. Merchant smiling to himself, "Let's see what happens now. This time it's a different challenge." The donkey, unaware, is once again given the sack and they begin their journey. As they approach the river, the donkey looks excited. He stumbles once more, but this time he falls with a sense of satisfaction, thinking he'll get rid of the burden. The donkey, so sure of his clever plan, never suspected that his trick was about to backfire. The donkey gets up feeling much heavier, and the sponges soaking up the water and becoming much heavier. Donkey is groaning. "What is this? Why does it feel so much heavier?" The donkey struggles to stand up, and he looks at the merchant, who is walking ahead with a knowing smile. The donkey's face looks weary, struggling under the heavy load. The merchant looks back at him, then speaks gently. Sometimes what seems like an easy solution can turn into a much bigger problem. You tried to cheat your way out of your duties, and now you've made things harder for yourself. The donkey looks down, ashamed. He understands that his greed has led him to a poor decision.
Donkey to himself.
I've learned my lesson. What seemed like an advantage wasn't the right path. Greed never helps anyone.
The donkey and the merchant walking together, with the donkey no longer looking for shortcuts. The sun sets behind them as they continue their journey. And so the donkey learned that no matter how tempting it may seem, shortcuts taken out of greed often lead to greater hardships. The path of wisdom and hard work is always the better choice. Remember, not everything that glitters is gold, and sometimes the weight we carry is a reminder of the value of what we have.